Hey, my name is Eric, and I thought today, since I've had a number of customers ask me the same question from different customers, that probably maybe you might want to know too if you're just a weekend warrior. And a lot of it is, how do I take care of my chainsaw to make sure it's working at optimum ranges? Stay tuned. Hey, welcome back to the channel. My name is Eric. Today I thought we'd talk about chainsaw safety. Alright, so welcome back to the channel. Again, my name is Eric, and today we're going to talk about chainsaws and how to get the best performance out of your chainsaw. And this is more geared towards you weekend warriors that don't use it on a regular basis. Maybe you get a load of logs and you're cutting up firewood, or just around the house trimming up stuff, right? Couple key things that I point out to my customers when they start having problems. And one area is your fuel and your oil. Okay? Now, the problems that I see is people are not cleaning this off before they open up to refill it. And what ends up happening is you get sawdust into the fuel chamber or into the oil chamber. The result is the fuel filter will get plugged and have to be replaced and drained. Or if it's the oil, it could actually plug up the oiler so that it can't work properly, so that you're not getting enough bar oil on the chain. So that's one of the simple things you could do, is just take a 1-inch paintbrush, stiff, where you can brush around these before you go to refill with oil and fuel. It's going to save you a lot of headaches right there. The other thing is, the best way, like this one here, if I lift up on it by hand, actually that's going higher. This is loose. So what I want to do is, let's take it all the way off, and I can go into it more. Okay, so we have here, this is the chain and this is the bar. And the thing that I'm looking for, and what you should be looking for, is when it comes to the oiler, there is a little hole right there. And you need to look into there to see if it's clear, or it's not plugged up. And this one is not plugged up. The other thing to check is the end rollers. Now you can get bars with replaceable tips, but that's running smooth. The other thing I'm checking when I have a bar come in is to see if it's got any sharp spots on the outside where that it needs to be filed up. This is all good. And then I want to look down into the chamber where the chain rides, and that looks pretty good too. But we're going to take and put some air into it before I put it all back together and go use it. But this is for you guys at home. So the biggest thing that I see a lot of times, and if you've done this, you're not the only one. And let me add before I go into further, it does not matter which direction your bar is. It will go either way. And actually what I would encourage is, after every couple of sharpenings, flip your blade so you're getting even wear on the top and the bottom. It will make your bar last longer, and it will cut better in the long run. All right, so what I was going to say is, one of the things that I see quite a bit is I've had customers that have had the chain on backwards and complained that it didn't cut after I'd sharpened the chain for him. Well, if you've got this turned around, it's not going to cut. It's just going to sit there and bang, right? So what you want to do is you want to get all this cleaned out while you've got the bar off. And I'll just do it quick because I want to get this quick video out. But right here is the oiler. And the way to tell if the oiler is working is I can show you real quick. Let me start her up. So we know the oiler is working on this. So next is putting the chain back on. Make sure you have it going in the right direction. And go ahead and just put it back on your saw. Now, on this particular model, the tightener is right in between. So I want to take and back this off a little so I can get that to go into that hook. There's like a pin for your tightener. It'll pop into place. And this here paintbrush works good on it as well. We'll put this back on. Now what we want to do at this point is don't tighten the chain and don't tighten the bar. Right now, as you can see, it's pretty loose, right? So what I want to do is take and start tightening it. And you'll see it coming up in as I turn. And that's tightening the chain. It's moving the chain tightener out. The other thing you want to be conscious of is tip your bar back. Because once you get into a block of wood, if you got it down here, it's going to tilt back and it's going to loosen up on you. So keep the nose pointed up. And then continue tightening. And then the question was, how tight do I tighten my chain? You should be able to pick it up and just see the bottom. You can go a little tighter yet. Right like that. You want it just so that you're bringing up in the bottom of the chain is just right at the base of the bar. And at that point, again, keeping your nose tipped up, go ahead and tighten it. And that's all there is to tightening a chainsaw and how tight to have it. A couple maintenance tips to avoid getting sawdust into your fuel tanks and your oil tanks. And then lastly, the chain, you gotta have a sharp chain. And if it's not sharp, you're just laboring the saw, running it hotter than it needs to be, and it's not efficient. And I've seen where people will file on one side at the correct angle, but on the other side, whether they're left or right-handed, the other side gets sharpened differently. And they have marks on most of the chain. These chains I have here do not have marks. But making sure you have the correct file for the correct chain is equally important. So ask your steel dealer when you're in there, could you give me a couple files that will fit my chain? And he will help you out. If not, it says right on the bar what size chain it is. And check Google, check online. It'll tell you exactly what size file to run. And when you're running your file, you want your file to go at the correct angle, because the top part of the tooth is what's cutting, not down into the basin. And on your chain, you have the front, which is called the raker. And as you sharpen, the chain is getting lower, right? So every so often, and they do have a raker gauge that you can set right on, and then just simply take a flat file and then just go right across that a couple times as you go. So if you have any questions, put them in the comments. But that's how sharp or how tight your chain should be. Maintenance tips on how to keep oil and fuel from becoming contaminated with sawdust. And checking your oiler to see if your oiler is working. If your chain is too tight, your bar will start burning too, and it won't make use of the oil coming to the bar, if that makes sense. So on that note, we'll catch you on the next video. Thanks so much for watching.